channel. New week, new episode. We are moving. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm well.
Yep.
I'm well. So for this week, we are talking about how we met. When, how, all that jazz. We're also talking about what attracted us to each other. Would you like to start, Mr. Mfono?
Let's go. So, how we met, right? So, 2013 is the year that we met.
I said 2012, but
No.
he has better memory.
Yeah, 2013 is the year that we met. And so just context is I was trying to get to WITS, try to study drama at WITS, apply drama for life. And they said, man, because it's a postgraduate program, you either have to do an undergraduate or you either have to collect some experience and apply drama. So they suggested I go get some experience at Timber Interactive, which was a company that Limps was working at the time. But we hadn't met. So I was like, okay, cool, let me go to Timber. I went to Timber, I got in for an audition and I was accepted. They took me in. And I remember beginning of February was the day I started. Well, the month I started, I can't remember the day. Feb, got to Timber, we were starting, got to meet all the other interns. And yeah, basically we got into our own little space. We had a small little space there at the back. And yeah, I was there at Timber. I hadn't seen Dimps by then. So how I first saw her at Timber, because she was working there, was probably a week after, or 2 weeks, no, not 2 weeks, 2 weeks is too far. Maybe a week after I started with my internship, because we were only there for a couple of days a week. So possibly the following week, that's when I saw her. Becky, a good friend of ours, shout out to Becky. Becky was taking us, the interns, for a specific course there, internship course. So he took us the first week, and then the second week, he said he was going to bring someone. So he brought Dimple that second week to our class. So I walked in, I was like, hey guys, I'm bringing someone today. She's going to assist me with the class. And in came Dimple. And I remember seeing her and going, okay, she nice. But to tell you about my mentality that time, I was coming from the Val. I had just done like maybe 2 to 3 years freelancing in theater. I was really hungry. Like I really wanted an education. I really wanted to get somewhere, in this drama journey that I was on. So I saw her, but my mind wasn't there. You know what I mean? My mind was like, I'm here to get my own so that my future, So I saw her, she came in, and I remember that class just being in awe of her mind, She was Dimple. I mean, anyone who knows her will know that she's got quite a brain, She's really smart. She was smart. She was able to unpack what that course was about, and she was very interactive and very listening. You could see that this is a special person. Well, to me, I could see that. Well, she's unique. There's something unique about her. But again, I was like, I'm here for my grind. I'm here to grind and all. So time went, and Becky would bring her again, and once in a while over lunchtime would be with because she was full-time there, so the interns would be with full-time staff. And so we would mingle here and there, but nothing like substantial happened until we officially met in prison. So the quick story of that is what Timber used to do is they used to hold workshops in prisons.
Yeah,
I think that's
one of the things.
One of the many things that used to happen there is they used to hold workshops in prison.
So how I met Rex, actually, met and first seeing are two different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I first saw you was at Tim, and it's quite interesting because he says he first saw me when I came with Becky for that.
Like maybe the second week.
Yeah, but I saw him like 2 or 3 weeks before that. So he didn't see me.
Where at the like the first day.
Yes, you came for the audition.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Which was
so,
a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, so he came with a couple of other people, obviously, that were auditioning for the internship. A couple of us, like, some colleagues of mine and I were coming from, I think, Pick and Pay or somewhere. We're just going to buy lunch. And, we came into the building, we went up the stairs, and, as we stood at the bottom of the stairs and looked up, there was like a group of people coming for auditions, and Lerego was sitting right at the edge. So he was the first person you saw when you looked at the group. And I remember I told this friend of mine, I was like, "Whoa, look at him." And both of us were like, "Whoa, he's cute." But at the time we were like, "He looks young, but he's cute. But, he's cute." And, I sort of like prepared myself to walk past him because, we were going to go up the stairs and sort of walk past him. But actually, I think we'll just say you were very nervous about the audition because I remember you looking down. Like, you saw us. Trust me, you looked at us.
I don't remember, Jack. I just remember auditioning and leaving.
You looked at us, but I think maybe you were your head was somewhere. And then we walked past, and that's when I first saw Lerego. And I think from that day, you were glued in my mind. Like, I just kept looking forward to seeing you again and again and again. And we didn't see each other much till, our friend Becky said, "Listen, please help me out with..." So Becky was in charge of the internship program, and he just needed assistance for people to come in and do specific activities, and and he was like, "Would you like to take the interns today?" And I'm like, "The interns?" Yeah, let me do that. And I did, and I remember, in that class where you first saw me, I remember trying my best to avoid eye contact or avoid, being near you. I think I'm just like that, actually. Just pretend you're not there. And that's when I first saw you.
Yeah, so Dims and I would mingle amongst everyone else. There was never a point where we got to one-on-one really speak in that time until like maybe 2 to 3 months later, where there were workshops that ought to have been held in a Northwest prison. Yeah, so there were workshops in Northwest prison, and they needed to send a group of facilitators and interns, or one intern to go. So I happened to be the intern that was accompanying Dimpo and a few other facilitators from Temba to go there. So when we went to Northwest prison, that was the first time where we got to really engage. It was really, because we lived in one guest house together, different rooms. Different rooms, one guest house together. Why are you laughing? So our trip from Joburg to the Northwest prison, I think we were heading to the guest house first and to the prison. That journey was about, 2 to 3 hours. That was the first time we actually one-on-one got to speak, and I think at that point we were not quite sure where we are in terms of our attraction. I think at that point I knew I liked her, but I knew that it is what it is. I'm not going to do anything about it. And at that point, where were you at with me? Were you still like,
So I think it was just, he looks cute, I want to know more. Yeah.
So we would then go to the prison, to the guest house, then to the prison. It would be like that. It was like a week. Yeah. So over that 5 to 6 days, we would then get to have time to speak in between. Either journeying to the prison or heading back. What an unusual setting. We connected around prison work. So we then I got to find out that she comes from Lesotho, Kimosotho. She got to find out that I'm come from Val, and I think we found each other very intriguing.
So what I find really special about this specific trip is not only that that's where we really connected. I'd say it was the defining moment for the beginning of our
connection.
I don't know if it was a connection or friendship or whatever it may be, is just before we met. I mean, it was gradual. Traveling there, we got to know a little bit about who you are, etc., etc. And then while we were at the guest house, during the course of the week, for the training, we got to unpack a little bit more and more and more and more and get deeper. And there was just interesting stuff. Oh, interesting. But what was really special is, I remember we were supposed to leave on a specific day. I forget the days of a specific day. And we were not done with the training. We didn't get everything we needed to. So we needed to call back at the office in Johannesburg and just sort of motivate with our manager and our finance manager that we need an extra day to wrap up the training. So it was approved, and the guest house granted us an extra night, and all of those logistics were done, and we had an extra night. And I remember that evening, we sat and we chat, like we were sitting in a corridor because like our colleagues were in the.
It was just noisy.
I think we were sitting in your guys' room. You were sharing a room with one of the guys. So there were people in there, and we just decided to go sit in the corridor and just chat. And we were chatting. We had a long chat. It was hours,
like into the midnight,
into like the wee hours of the morning. We were chatting and chatting, and I think at that moment, we knew we had a connection. Like we just couldn't leave. Like people kept opening the door, like, guys, what are you talking about? I think by then people already knew. Here.
Yeah, something has sparked.
So we chat, man, for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then I even remember that the colleague I was sharing a room with even went to sleep. She came past, she's like, I'm going to go sleep. And she went to sleep. And, we only decided to stop chatting when we realized it's almost morning. And, we need to get ready for the training in the morning. So we went to sleep, and then the following day, we went for the training, the last day of the training at the prison, at the correctional center. It's actually not called a prison. We've been incorrect. It's called the correctional center. We went for the last bit of the training, and then we got into the company car and traveled back to Joburg. And I remember we arrived like late-ish, and we dropped you off first, and then the rest of us were dropped off, only to find out later that it was his birthday. And those couple of hours where we were sitting in the corridor was actually like at midnight. It was his birthday,
and I was quiet about it.
And you were quiet. He didn't say anything.
Yeah,
he didn't say it. So what was really, really special is not only the fact that we had that very long chat on your birthday, just as it was 12 o'clock, we were sitting chatting, but it was his 21st birthday. And I think there was just a significance around turning 21, and just that moment that I got to share that moment with him, even though he didn't say a word at all. It was only when I went into his Facebook, because after we separated, I got to my place that day. I was like, this guy, he's interesting. I want to know much more about him.
He was stalking me.
No, I wasn't stalking you. I wasn't. At that point, we're not stalking each other. We're friends. Duh. But anyway, I went onto his Facebook and I saw on his wall, "Happy birthday, Rex! Happy birthday, Rex!" I'm like, this guy, it's his birthday. He didn't say a word. But I just remember feeling so warm and fuzzy that, I spent his birthday with him. And what I found also special, my love, is that you didn't say anything. Like, if you knew that we are extending the trip by a day and we are going to cost you your birthday, I think you would have said, nah, guys, we're not extending the day. I need to be home to spend, the birthday with my family or whatever. But you didn't say anything, which means you wanted to spend your birthday.
No, it was, I think at that point, the spark had become real and strong. What then happened over the next couple of weeks? We would connect more. And until we got to a point where it was unstoppable. Like, I think it got to unstoppable. I think, it eventually led to like a year later where we started officially dating.
I think I just remember we disappeared into our phones because if we were at work, we would spend all the time together. And then when we were not at work, we were on our phones. Like, he would walk me to the taxi, and then from when I got into the taxi and he was walking back, we would already be texting.
Yeah.
And when I get home to my apartment, we're on the phone.
Yeah.
Are
you good?
We would chat into the wee hours of the morning. Just hours and hours on the phone.
Be chatting.
I remember a friend of mine came. She wanted me to braid her hair. I braided her hair in braids. I braided her hair the entire time I was talking to Rex. She was shocked. She was like, "What?
What's going on here?"
We started talking on the phone it was Zandi.
Oh, shit.
We were talking on the phone from when we got to my place, when I started like taking out the hairpiece and, opening lines. She probably thought, just 2 or 3 braids will be done. I braided her entire head and I was still on the phone. I was here. And, still trying to blush, but braiding hair at the same time. My friend was shocked. She was like, whatever's into you guys. But that was the situation.
Yeah. I think, that is how we met.
That is how we met.
So we had our first kiss, and at that point, I think I knew that, man, it looks like this is something now, it looks like this is something. You don't kiss a girl and then turn away and act like, it didn't happen. So we kissed and...
Well, that's just you, my love. There are guys who do that.
Oh, all right, well then it looked like this needs to be something meaningful. We need to define it, and I think at that point it was like, okay, I think we are going to have to be serious about this, because at that point I think I was very passionate about not playing around, especially because I wasn't, at that point in my life, I wasn't looking to play and, do games. I was looking to commit to my life, to commit to where my career was taking me, and if there was this beautiful woman who I have to be devoted to, or who is part of this journey, then it's probably going to look like marriage in due time. So I think at that point I was like, hey, we need to try to talk to someone about what's happening before we do something crazy, make a big mistake. Maybe talk to someone, see if this could become that. And I think a year later, or a year and a half later, we started officially courting, right? Dating properly. And the rest is a story for another day.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Quite interesting to think about. I remember a lot of our dates we used to go during our lunch hour to pray at the Catholic church. Remember?
Opposite, yeah.
Yeah, we'd go to the Catholic church and we'd pray. So I think prayer was one of the biggest foundations.
Yeah, I think we wanted God to be a part of it from the beginning. Because God was a big part of our individual lives. So when we saw that the attraction is growing and it's strong and it's leading us somewhere, we got to get God to be involved from the beginning, see where it takes us. And I think it was wise for us to do that. So we will nip it right there for today. Just a little bit of, our journey, how we met. Thank you for joining us on our wedlocked journey. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting.
Please like this video. Please encourage or share with your friends and family to subscribe to this channel. If it's your first time watching this video, please subscribe. And we look forward to catching up again next week.
Bye.
Bye.